Hey folks, so many people ask me about my Kuryakyn, I guess that's how they're pronounced, grips, and whether I have the heaters, and of course I do. I have the heated grips, and how they work through how the heated grips work through these. So I will just make this as short as possible and answer that question. When I first got the bike, I got Grip Buddies or Puppies. I forget which one it was. The original Grip Buddies, I think it was. Put those on. And those are great. They made the diameter of the grips larger. I have large hands. The heat went through them great. But I wore them out, especially the right one, fairly quickly. You know, they have a texture surface on them, kind of like a wetsuit. And I wore them out fairly quickly. And then, you know, I like chrome and that kind of stuff. So, you know, I saw Le Monster and a few other people putting on the Kuryakyn grips. And so I put them on, and I did a video showing what I consider an easier and better way to put them on, and that's split the rubber and clamp them rather than all that soap and all that other stuff and fighting them trying to get them on. Anyway, so back to the question. So as you see, I've got the helmet locks on here too, as you see. And you can also see I keep my hands as close to the handlebars as possible. Now, the heated grips work. When you turn them on, it takes a while longer for the heat to get through the grip, okay, and warm up your hands. But it does, and it gets plenty hot. But I will tell you the other problem. If you're just moving along like I am now, you know, in the 30s, you know, in traffic, yeah, the heat stays in them good. You're going down the freeway at, you know, 60 to 70. Then the air moving over the ends sucks the heat out of them. Now, yes, you can still feel the heat, but while it's on high, let's say, it's more like low, right? So that is a problem. Now, maybe without the helmet locks, you would not have as much of that problem, but the bottom line is you got metal sticking out there with air moving over it. It's going to suck the heat out of anything, right? So what I did is... you know, like this morning, I did use the grip heaters for the, you know, the first little section of my ride until it warmed up a little, and I did not have my inner tubes over it. But what I did was, if I'm going to be cold, if it's going to be cold, and I know it's going to be cold, and I'm going to want to use the heated grips, I took an inner tube and I cut about 3 inches of the inner tube and made a slip-on rubber cover that just slips on the end and goes just about to here. And of course it stays on no problem too. I forget what diameter inner tube it was. I think it was 1 inch or maybe 1 and I forget. It wasn't a 10 speed, but it was another one. But anyway, you just stretch them over and pop them on, and then yeah, that solves the air going over that metal sucking the heat out of the grips. So anyway, for those of you, pardon me, anyway, for those of you that want to have these grips, etc., then you're probably going to want to do what I did and make that inner tube that goes over the end. Maybe one day I'll show it, but it's not hard. You just cut some inner tube and it just goes over the end. And by the way, when you're not going to be using your heated grips or whatever, you can just take them off. By the way, you can pull them off while you're riding, just drop them in your glove box. So that is that about the Kuryakyn grips. One more thing I will just add. If you don't want to put on the Kuryakyn grips, but like the idea of the handlebar helmet locks, check out, shoot, I'm not going to remember the name now, riding along here. I forget what it's called. I think they were part of Cool Metal at one time, but he branched off. Lidox, L-I-D-O-X. They make helmet locks that go on the stock BRP grips. So you could put your grip puppies or buddies or foamy on there, and then also have those helmet locks if that's what you want, without doing this whole Kuryakyn thing. All right? So just another tip from me on my Kuryakyn grips, my experience using them in the heated grips and helmet locks. Final comment, I love these helmet locks. When I'm with my wife and she bought a bunch of junk and we've got a bunch of baggage and all the stuff is filled, we park to go get something to eat, you know, stuff the jackets in what you can, And I lock the helmets up on the helmet locks. Now I've seen a lot of people say, oh, I would never do that, leave my helmet out in the open, blah, 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 blah. Birds will poop in it, leaves will fall in it, blah, blah, blah. So, all right, let me tell you what I do. I have Bluetooth. I had SM5s, now I got 20Ss. They pop off of the bracket, super simple, right? So if you're worried about someone stealing your Bluetooth device, just unplug it and lock it up. No big deal. Second thing, locking the helmet on these. Yeah, your helmet's sitting out in the sun. Yeah, it's going to be sitting with the open part of the helmet facing upward. There's two things you can do. You can, once you've put it on there, is just grab the helmet and hang the helmet from the grip, right? Now, if it's windy or whatever, I suppose, it can blow them off, but that keeps the opening from sitting upright. But that's not what I do. What I do is pretty much every helmet you buy comes with a helmet bag that, either Velcro shut or zip shut or tie shut or whatever. I carry those with me. So when we do lock the helmets up on there, pardon me, when we do lock the helmets up on there, I take off the Bluetooth and put the bags on. And then that's it. Nothing gets in the helmets. They're covered up from the sun. The bags are breathable, so the helmets get some air. They don't get hot, so on and so forth. So for me, I like them when, and by the way, I only use them when I don't have enough storage space to put both helmets in. By the way, for me and my helmets, I can get one helmet in the front and a jacket, mainly because I've got a tool bag in the front. And my wife's helmet fits no problem in the right saddlebag, all right? The right saddlebag. I can't get a helmet in the left saddlebag. The shape's different and it's a little bit smaller. So when we're not full, I do lock the helmets up when I can. But if we're full, or even half full, one or both helmets may go on these locks. And I'm just giving you a tip on how to hang them there and not worry about them, all right? Another tip from me on the Kuryakyn Grips and helmet locks.